Hello, hello. I am going to, I guess, fix this in the first place. And I am not sure this is the way I want it to be. I hope this doesn't mess the video, but I'm gonna, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to continue recording in this area like this. And everybody will be able to hear me and see me all right. Let's see. Okay. So the memorization problem. Oh, wait 1 second. I'm gonna just close the door to avoid distraction. Thank you so much for being here. I really want to make this simple. Don't expect technical things. Talking about the memorization problem when it comes to learning languages. I say languages, although this video is in English, and because I have experience with people in both ways. People that are trying to learn Spanish. I am a native Spanish speaker. I live in Costa Rica, and I am from Costa Rica, and I have heard people from different parts of the world, from Japan, from Germany, from France, and trying to learn Spanish, and also telling me their experiences about learning other languages. So, and I also have worked in companies where people from all over the world come to the platform where I was working, and they were trying to learn English, but they were from Turkish, they were from China, from Taiwan, and from Brazil. And so I work with people directly, but I also interacted one on one with people that were from other countries that they were talking about learning other languages. And so all of this I have been exposed and nurtured and interested and educated and passionate, both directly helping others to learn English and Spanish, but also hearing their stories, learning other languages, because you know that's something that interests me. And so this is where this is coming from. So what you will hear when it comes to the memorization problem is not something that will apply to every single person or people with different uh, diagnosis when it comes to memory loss or any sort of medical condition like that. But this is for everyday people that are trying to learn a language of different ages, from 5-year old or younger to people that are 60, 70, or even older, that have been trying to learn languages. And I just want to give you that so that you know, like, I'm not speaking science, or uh, I am not going to address every different specific situation or circumstances. So don't get discouraged. And so if I don't address the specific memory challenge that you have been having, Now, that being said, I do believe that what I will say, that what I have to say, can help lots and lots of people if you're one of them. Maybe either you want to learn Spanish or Russian or Chinese, and I hope that this is something that will be able to encourage you when it comes to that problem, to also give you some tools so that you can move forward. And as you face more specific problems, or if you have been facing specific problems when it comes to memory, share them on the comments below. If I am able to give you a specific answer for that in future videos, I will be delighted to. And I can even go and make my own research to speak about something more specific. But okay, so I just said all of this so that people that are coming here, they know what to expect. And I'm surely hoping that this information would be, and I believe that has the potential of being helpful to many, many people that have just started and have had this problem. Okay, so here's what I have been hearing. Some of the people that I have been personally talking with, whether they're my students or acquaintances that have been trying to learn other language and that have been able to do it successfully. So if I, and as well as many other people, would try to learn, let's say I was trying to learn Russian or French or Italian or Chinese, just another of the many languages that I don't know, Arabic, Japanese. And let's say somebody tells me a few words. I might remember those words the next day, or I might not. But I tell you what I'm not going to do. It's being so hard with myself and say, oh, I can't remember. So I will hear the words again. Oh, how do you say it? And often I will notice, oh, it was there on my brain, or maybe it wasn't. But I will go, oh my goodness. And I just want to be honest. I feel so, I feel like, sometimes I don't know where we get this from. Uh, we feel that if somebody speaks about something, they have to be an expert or anything like that. And I'm not here to try to be like the ultimate guidance, but I'm just here to nurture you with my experience, hoping and and wanting to help you to overcome that barrier of, oh, I'm just not able to memorize. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that many many people say, oh, I cannot remember. So what I notice and what I share with them is, so if I was you and I just, go to a lesson or read a little bit or hear or somebody tells me how to pronounce something, if I see it on a video, the next day or the week after or the week after that, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't remember, therefore I cannot learn. Because that's not how we learn. It's not like a memory game, like I tell you these numbers: 17, 20, 40, 30, 5, 26. And now I'm like, repeat the same order. Well, if you can do that, that's amazing. There's people that can do that. But and and they're very good at it. But that, like, don't get discouraged. That doesn't mean that you are not able to. It's just that we need to see how is it that we are able to remember things. And I'm just gonna give you an example. You already speak English. If you're able to understand everything I'm saying, so it means that you're able to remember these words. And so everybody is different. But if English is your native language, perhaps I would assume that when you were already like 15 and a teenager or older, you were not like struggling to say, I want to eat. Oh, I don't remember the word want. So, and even that can happen to natives. Many of us at times, we're like, oh, what's his face? Or I don't remember how to say. That is normal. And that's what I want to express to you. That it's normal not to remember words. It's normal not to remember something that you studied or that you were taught the day before, last week. And so, coming back to the example of if you're a native English speaker or any native language, you just grew up speaking and hearing other people, and you probably didn't have, at least not in the same way, the problem of what I cannot learn this language because of the memory issue. But here is what happens. Here is what I want you to be able to see. You were able to learn a language, whether that's English or another language. You didn't seem to have the memory issue. So what's the difference? Your memory works because you can remember your language, and it's a complex language with different sounds, etc. And you're able to remember. So that means that your brain works. Your brain was able at some point to learn something and to retain it, to communicate. Now you're having trouble with that other language. So what's happening? That doesn't make sense, right? You are able to basically do something so effectively, but not again, right? So what is it? What's happening? So I want to express to you that there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong, but that it is part of how learning another language is. So you can excuse me for I'm just thinking here because I want to be natural. The way you don't even like have to try to memorize, just like in learning your first language, you didn't have to like force yourself to memorize, but you were exposed to the language and you were in the need or in the want to communicate. And that repeated again and again and again led to the memorization. So I hope that makes sense to you. You memorized in order to communicate effectively, not because you were trying to memorize, but because you were exposed in the either the need or the want to communicate. It's like a baby was not trying to memorize. Oh, I need to memorize, and oh, I cannot memorize water, milk, or it hurts, or I want to eat, or I want to play. But the true concern was to do those things, to be fed, to be nurtured. And so when we're trying to learn a language, if we just can think or stop thinking in terms of can memorize. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a real struggle. It is a real struggle. That most people trying to learn a language will face. But the issue is trying to just understand and accept that it happens. And so what I want and hope for you all, even if just one person listen to this, the listen to me is that, so if I was going to learn, let's say, whatever language, um, I'm just gonna make up a language, or maybe use a real one, like French. I would not like study my book today, read my children's book with illustration, and then be so discouraged tomorrow because I don't know. Not even if it happens 2 times, 3 times. Now, again, this is where I wanted to say I'm not speaking about people with certain medical conditions or anything like that because that would be different. And if there is a treatment for it, then following the treatment, following the solution, doing the best you can, that would be the best thing to do. But in general, people who have faced that difficulty of not knowing how to learn a language because they feel like they don't have the memory capacity when they actually have it, but just because they don't know or they expect that they may be comparing themselves with other people. Oh, I have been here for 3 months or for, let's say, even years, 20 years in this country. And people who come here in 3 months already speak, or people who have never come to this country before already speak. Like, it's my memory. No, many, I'm not gonna say never, but many times there is not a memory or major memory problem. It's something that you can work with by putting yourself in the position where you're patient with yourself. Like, don't be too hard, don't criticize yourself, don't program your memory to be. Uh, I don't want to be. I, I'm not here to criticize anybody who's having a real struggle and make them feel like bad or worse. No, that's not my goal. Like, if you had like a sincere problem, like, and that's why you're here, well, just want to tell you that it for many people it's very natural not to be able to remember. And so what I want you to try to do, if you can, is to, well, to all those that are able to, check, uh, if necessary, like check your brain, make sure you're eating foods that are good for the brain, and do whatever is within your hands, like sleeping well, doing normal, regular exercise, having a healthy routine. And so once that's the case, which sleeping and a good sleeping routine, if you're able to have it, and really boost learning in general, not just for languages, but for school, for a variety of subjects and activities that you need to perform, uh, whatever that is that you're into. But once you have, so what I want to say is that many people that think that they have a brain problem and feel like they can memorize many times, it's just because they don't know that it's normal, that they don't remember. And what I encourage you all to do is just to accept it, and instead of being like, "Oh, I can't remember," be more like, "Okay, what is it that I need to say?" And practice it. Just practice it. And practice it once, practice it twice, and learn other things. And think of it as when you walk. Like, if you're able to take a walk or a drive, we 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 do memorize some key things, but if it makes sense, we don't memorize every inch of what we do. We just kind of like um, go through it by doing it once, by doing it twice, by trying to achieve that goal that we have in front of us. And so if you approach language like that, like, oh, you want to express to your doctor or to you know, your friend, the people that you love, the people in your community, how do you like your coffee? And so then you have that goal that you want that coffee to be, black or with milk. And so learn, okay, how do you say that? Use apps, a translator, hear it, practice it the best way you can. Um, if that's something that you want to do and that you're able to get a tutor that is patient, that is willing to help you, talk to your friends. If you're already making friends that speak that language, immerse yourself into it. Um, have goals of saying different things, maybe even like learning a joke, and and don't worry about, oh, but like how can I remember a full joke? Like I cannot even make goals that are within your, like if you're already advanced and you can have different goals. If you're just a total beginner, you can have more smaller goals, and have fun. Try to enjoy um, the process. And so, wow, I really, I'm more of a conversation kind of person, and but I did my best to be able to be conversational. Should I make a review if that's even um, possible? So if you have the problem of, if you have if you have let this big thing of, or this situation problem that feels big, like, oh, I can't remember, and that's why I don't even study, or I study but I forget. Try to approach it differently by not capitalizing, or, well, of course, in a general sense, try to get check if everything is working well, and if it is, if if it is within normal, circumstances, because many of us, I have many healthy issues too, but I know that despite my health issues, I'm able to, and many related to the brain too. So, and so if within, despite having those issues, you're able to eat well, eat the best you can, eat foods that are nurturing for your brain. I think one of them is walnuts and blueberries. If you're able to, so just do what you can. Try to sleep better, which that nurtures learning very much for college, for kids, for anybody. Try to know that you're getting the amount of sleep that you need, and don't think about memorizing, but think about the friends, the people in your community that you want to help, and the the purpose, just like that child that it's not worrying about memorizing, but it's worrying about like food or water, or like who is mama, or who is dada, or who is this person that I know that cares for me, or you know, my brother and my sister, my aunts, my uncle. So they learn to want to communicate with that person, and it happens. It happens. And yes, memory might not be as good as when we're younger, as when we're older. At least, like, don't take that for granted because I'm not speaking. Take that with a grain of salt. But even then, you're able to. And many people that I have worked with that have expressed to me that issue, for the most part, I have not had yet. I'm not going to say that I will never have, but as as of today, I'm very happy that even my students that have expressed in the past like the problem of memory, that they are actually able to. I just give them confidence to try, to not being so hard with themselves, and to enjoy the practice. So instead of, for example, this phrase that we saw last week, instead of being like, do you remember how to say that phrase? And if you don't, then we failed and there is a problem with you. No, 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 no. Nothing like that. More, more like, do you remember? Oh my goodness. Let's say they say, oh, they really can. No, that's fine. Part of it. What about it? Let's practice it again. And they say it. And so what happens is that, if they're really putting their efforts into practicing, I send them a message, or they send me a message with the phrase. And I say, hey, when you're talking to people, try to practice that phrase. But not even that phrase alone. Let's just move on. Because practicing it once, practicing it twice, talking to other people, focusing on what are your needs, the key phrases that you need to know, keyword, the expressions, communicating, accomplishing that goals, and that's what it's all about. So, was it worth it to see this video? So many people already, maybe they say no, because I didn't give scientific, evidence-based, strong, crazy difficult, or impressive advice I might have. But if you were somebody worried, and that's one of the things that has been holding you back, and and I spoke to this as if I was speaking to myself in the event that I wanted to learn the language, and I didn't know that this is kind of like a common problem, and I was just um, sorry about it. Like I told you, I, I have. I'm trying to think. Oh, just if I didn't know what I know and I didn't have the experience around learning languages and talking to people that are learning languages or that have successfully learned language and helping others that have faced this same challenge of memorization. And if I had not had the opportunity of actually helping them and seeing how they learn or make progress despite being faced with this challenge, if I didn't have any of this and I was in perhaps your position, the position that you are now, where you try to perhaps learn Spanish or English or another language, and you would like, no, I can't seem to do it because I don't remember. And I see other people progressing faster, or I heard people do it in 3 months or whatever amount of time. And look at me, I can't do it. If you feel like that, I really hope that. So if I was in your position, I don't want it to. I I You see, learning languages, English, it's difficult for me as well. So, but what I try to say is that if I was in a position that I didn't have any of the experience and the exposure that I have now, this is the information that I would tell myself. Why? Because it is not complicated. The problem feels big when you don't know, and that's okay. And that's why you came here. So so, but I wanna tell you with, that you can have confidence that what I told you today, just being kind to yourself, not over criticizing your memory, understanding that it's normal. Uh, think of it as objectives instead of memorizing, but like from getting your coffee to making a new friend to communicating better with the friends, with the people in your community, with helping them, from ordering a coffee, um, doing activities. Just think of them, come back to the words as many times as necessary, and enjoy the journey. And before you know it, without thinking, look, because I didn't expect it myself to know the word, but I just learned it as many times as I had to. Now I was able actually to get to a point where I surprised myself. You can totally do that. That's all I had to say for now. And more content will be coming, and I'll surely try because I'm trying, and I will try my best to improve as much as possible. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Bye.